Everybody say musketeer.
Musketeer.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, you're right there. Constant chickens all around. I need to take a picture of this.
Be careful with that gun.
Delete that, delete.
Is this gonna be loud?
Delete that.
The video that they showed us the first game was really loud.
Delete that. Borra eso. Borralo.
Everybody know we're getting started in case they want to come and join us.
Oh, join.
And we've found that one of the more effective ways of announcing a firearms demonstration is to fire. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. We'll conclude the demonstration by loading and firing again.
Don't shoot me. I hope he
If you
doesn't
don't
shoot
care
me.
for loud noises, you may wish to cover your ears. This can be a little bit on the loud side.
I'm not gonna cover my ears.
Set, peace! Game, fire!
Oh my god.
That was awesome!
Oh my god. You know what firecrackers, but it's awesome.
Get somebody's attention.
Shoot a chicken.
Wouldn't be much left of that chicken. That'd be a waste of the dinner.
It's ready for fire.
Alrighty. Well, how's everybody doing today?
Good!
Glad to hear it. My name is Brian. I'm one of the soldiers here in Jamesport. We're going to be talking a little bit about the matchlock musket for the next few minutes. This is called a matchlock because it requires a burning piece of slow match to fire it, which is a hemp cord that's been boiled in a gunpowder solution, which nitrates it, makes it burn nice and hot, keeps it burning slow and steady. With both ends lit, which I do just in case one goes out, I'll burn about a foot an hour or so, hence slow match. And this is what I use to set off my gunpowder. And you think about it, what better way of setting off gunpowder than to stick burning rope into it, right? That's the way this weapon works. It's a very simple firing mechanism. It's got 3 moving parts, and that's all of them right there. Trigger operates serpentine by way of a swing arm behind that plate there. You squeeze the trigger, it swings the serpentine. That's it. That's all it does. Serpentine has a clamp in the end of it which holds the slow match, and when you squeeze the trigger, it sticks the slow match into the pan full of powder. It literally sticks burning rope into gunpowder when you pull the trigger. So very crude, very simple, but very reliable. Because just about every time you stick burning rope into gunpowder, it's going to go off. There's just so little going on, there's not a whole lot to go wrong. The weapon in the hands of a trained musketeer has an effective range of about 100 yards. It's a distance at which I'm expected to strike who I'm aiming at most of the time. Now, at that distance, I don't necessarily know which part of you I'm going to hit, and I don't particularly care. This is a weapon intended for dealing with heavy infantry and cavalry on the European battlefield, which means it's got to be able to put a bullet through steel plate body armor, and it's got to be able to drop a war horse. And in order to do so, this weapon fires a 75 caliber musket ball. It's a 3/4 inch wide, 1/12 of a pound of lead. Exits the barrel on average around 900 to 1,000 feet per second, just shy of the speed of sound. And if it'll knock down a horse, what do you reckon it'll do to you? It'll wreck your day pretty thoroughly, yeah. So if I was aiming for your head and I hit you in the hip, did it work? Yep. You're done shooting back. That's all I'm worried about. So it doesn't need to be pinpoint accurate to be effective. A trained musketeer is also expected to be able to load and fire his weapon twice in a minute. Deliver 2 aimed shots in a minute. About a shot every 25 seconds or so. And that's not real fast, but that's why musketeers don't fight as individuals. You send a group of men with muskets out so they can take turns firing at the enemy and protect each other while they're reloading. Generally speaking, you're going to be using a unit that's at least 5 ranks deep. Say you've got 50 men. Block formation, 10 across, 5 deep. That first row of 10 fires at the enemy and they start reloading. And the second rank steps up in front of them and they fire at the enemy and they start reloading. The third rank steps up and fires and starts reloading. The fourth rank does the same, fifth rank does the same. By this point, the first rank's finished reloading and they head back to the front to fire again and start reloading again. That way the unit as a whole provides a pretty high rate of fire. Each individual is only shooting twice a minute, and they're protecting each other while they're reloading. Very effective when you got friends. Now your ammunition we're doing all that reloading. It's carried here in the bandolier. We're going to go through the loading process once without gunpowder to talk about how it works, and then we'll actually load it up and fire it again. You'd start the loading process with the priming flask. This will carry a finer grade of gunpowder. It's going to flash a little quicker, a little hotter, give me more reliable ignition in the pan there. I'm going to fill the pan from that flask. Close the pan so that powder stays put. Make sure there's no excess powder outside the pan that can cause the weapon to detonate early. Cast it about. Pop the top off of a charger. This carries a measured amount of powder, just enough to propel one bullet. And empty that down the barrel. Then for the bullet, I'm going to one of two places. Most of my bullets are going to be carried in this pocket here on my hip, but the guard orders here at James Fort also instruct soldiers to carry shot in their mouth while on guard duty. They don't tell us why. The guard orders don't specify why, but our best guess is it's another means of shaving another second or two off the loading process. If I've got shot in my mouth, rather than digging around in that pouch, I'm going to go straight for my scouring stick, spit the bullet out, put it right in on top of the powder, and ram it to the breech. It's a little bit more streamlined. The bullet fits pretty tight, so you have to push it all the way down there. It's not going to fall all the way down on its own. Make sure it's tight. Place the scouring stick. Cover the weapon. Make sure that slow match is burning nice and hot. Fix it into the serpentine. Check it on the pan cover to make sure it'll hit the right spot. Then open the pan, exposing the powder. Aim the weapon and squeeze the trigger, lowering that burning cord into that pan full of powder. The pan powder flashes, the flash travels through a small hole called a vent, detonates the main charge, and throws the bullet that way. Not all that?
Yes.
You can do it in 25 seconds or less?
Yes.
Oh.
If you spent the next two weeks doing nothing but training with this weapon all day, every day, do you think you could do it in 25 seconds or less?
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's what men are doing when they first arrive here in the colony. Men that don't bring their own equipment and don't have previous experience are being issued weapons and armor, and they spend their first 2 weeks training with that gear until the soldiers, officers are satisfied that their new soldiers are effective. They're going to make sure you know how to use it before they send you off. Now, for our demonstration today, rather than carrying gunpowder in the chargers as they would have done, we are now using paper cartridges to carry our powder. The same idea, same measured amount of gunpowder, just a little bit different container. These become common later on as the primary means of carrying ammunition. This will eventually replace the bandolier. We find it to be a little bit more convenient for our use here at the museum today. The loading process works the same way. A little bit of powder in the pan. Close the pan. Make sure there's no excess outside the pan. Gas weapon about. Dump the rest of the powder down the barrel. Since we're not using musket ball today, folks at the National Park next door get angry when we put holes in things. One of the reasons for the paper cartridge is to give us something, in this case the empty paper, to put in on top of the powder instead of the bullet, to keep everything compacted at the breech. Cover the weapon. Make sure the match is burning nice and hot. Fix it in the serpentine, check it on the pan cover, and we're ready to go. All I've got to do is open the pan, squeeze the trigger, and again, it does tend to be a little bit on the loud side, so if you don't care for loud noises, cover your ears. Say peace! Good night!
Awesome! You scared me. Do you see that? I got you like you're like.
That scared me.
It scares everyone.
I moved back the whole time.
Guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your
Say
day.
thank you. Thank you.